Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha over there, fast fingering. What are you doing?
Excuse me?
You're fast fingering over there.
Business,
You're
business.
right. I'm not allowed to say that. I should have said you were fingering fast.
Correct.
So we've been telling everybody during this time that if you have the ability to help small business, especially bars and restaurants, because they're either
Those are our dudes.
shut down
Yeah.
or limited because of the new mandates and everything, and most of them are only able to do deliveries and like takeout, and it's rough
Yeah.
for any bar or restaurant owner out there. And,
Well, you're killing their destination.
Yeah.
You know, and you're making it a lot harder for them to provide what they've already had a difficult time providing. Customer service, restaurant, bar work is already hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take away their ability to even do it. Well, I don't even.
You take it with their customers,
Yeah.
then you gotta,
Boom.
you're limited, and we've been trying to help a lot of our sponsors. And speaking of that, on the line with us right now, Dan St Pierre from Tuffy's in Sanford is on the line. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Just doing that quarantine thing.
Dan, do
Yeah.
you find it as bizarre as I do that everybody that you see is dealing with this, like on TV, everybody you know, people you see on commercials that are actors that may have recorded the commercial years prior, you're like, that guy is going through some incarnation of this. Some have it way worse than others, and some, got the virus and everything. But it's bizarre to me that everybody you know and everybody you watch on TV and literally everybody on the planet is going through the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, I'm standing in Tuffy's right now, just trying to do paperwork and all that stuff, and it's a ghost town, downtown Sanford. I mean, the other day, right after we had to shut down, I guess it's been 2 weeks now, but I'm losing track of days. But I'm just standing out watering our flower beds out front, and I'm like, man, this is just bizarre. I mean, I couldn't help but get a little choked up. I'm like, this is a ghost town. It's normally so alive and so crazy, but now it's just crazy in a different way.
So
it's kind of weird.
it is bizarre.
Yeah, there is a weirdness to it. Like I was scooting around yesterday a little bit, and even some of the people that looked at me and I looked at them, it was like we both were kind of like, this is weird, man.
Yeah,
and they're looking at me
Yeah.
and they're like, this is weird, man.
Well, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, we're in a time that everybody you see is dealing with the same, it's some incarnation of it. It is weird. I'm not used to, literally, it's everybody. So, Dan, we've been telling our listeners how they can help out businesses like yourself. And what way can people help out Tuffy's?
I mean, we've been answering messages or we've set up kind of a little virtual shop through our, through a WhatsApp, and, people want us to walk them around our bottle shop on video chat or something. We can show them what we've got on the shelves, and, we can still do package, still do to-go stuff. We're trying to do that at least a couple hours a day, if people want to come in, and it's just been one of those weird times where, we don't know, when or how long we're going to be closed. I mean, I know we were planning our 2-year, actually it was supposed to be on Saturday. That was our 2-year anniversary. So I'm basically just setting up for whenever they do pull this. If you had a birthday or and you couldn't celebrate, then when this is all over, this party's for you, So,
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
Dan,
congrats on 2 years. I'm sorry it's not under obviously better circumstances, but hey, I mean,
sure.
the
We're going to make it to 3. We'll get through this too. There's a lot of things that we can do. I mean, really just trying to, we're still trying to figure it out, but, definitely want to keep our staff on, and, they've got health benefits that we pay for and all that stuff.
well,
So,
I'm glad you're making it to 3 because we are not, and we're firing everybody after today's broadcast.
Wait a minute.
including
you're all
yourself.
out of here.
Hold on, that was on my only in my mind microphone.
We're outsourcing to 2 Indian dudes that can do this way better.
They're great.
Cheap.
Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that two Indian gentlemen can be funnier and hit fart sound effects faster and more efficient?
Oh yeah.
Saving the entire world money.
So,
Yeah.
Dan, you
That accent, it just does it for you. You know,
Yeah.
everything sounds funnier. Yeah.
Not allowed to do it anymore.
you've got some rare liquor and stuff in your bottle shop, and that's still available. People can definitely buy
Bottle shop
bottles
is
from you,
open.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of cool bourbons, a lot of cool rye, a lot of just good whiskey in general, some cool tequilas, and not to mention the cider that we make. You know, we are currently out of growlers. We've got another shipment coming in, but if you've got a growler and you want to take some home with you, bring it in. We'll sanitize it for you and fill her up.
Well, Dan,
Anything on our draft that's left, you know, we're just kind of working through it.
what about buying like a gift card at Tuffy's for future use? I've been telling a lot of our listeners to, buy some gift cards, and then you could use them in the future when everything's back up and running.
Definitely. We do have some gift cards available, and they're real easy. They just, it goes on an actual card. You swipe it when you go to pay, and it just holds your balance until you don't have a balance anymore.
Awesome. Yeah. I've been telling people, like, hey, listen, you go get a gift card. You'll use it in the future, and it'll help these businesses at least sustain during this time when they can't operate.
And look, to clarify, a gift card to the actual business. Don't bring Dan St Pierre a Cracker Barrel gift card. Well, maybe he wants that. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but yeah, buy it from the
Something
business.
for Banana Republic, yeah.
Exactly. Tom loves
some
but
jeans.
you love Banana Republic.
Yeah.
So,
Get a nice set of chinos, yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a structure type of guy, or what is it now? It's Express for Men.
well,
I like the cut. I like the cut of their. Well, they got that second way stretch slacks are very, very nice. And for undergarments,
no pleats.
I like Victoria's Secret second skin satin. Feels better on my Titas.
So again, go buy a bottle of liquor, buy a gift card. When things go, get up and running again, celebrate at Tuffy's. Tuffy's has been a sponsor of ours for a while. And
love 'em.
a great bar, restaurant in Sanford. And if you've never been there, when this whole thing blows over, definitely go check it out. And definitely help them out while you can, if you can, because all these small businesses
hard,
need our
man.
help now.
It's hurting. Well, Dan, hey, thanks for your time, man. Please give your staff some love from us, man. Stay safe, and we'll check back in with you soon.
Yeah, same with you guys. Thanks a lot.
All
Yeah,
right,
no
man.
problem,
Take
Dan.
care.
See ya.
There is Dan St. Pierre from Tuffy's Bottle Shop and Lounge in beautiful ghost town like Sanford, Florida.
Yeah, I feel so bad for like these business owners that you're going about your business and everything's going good, and then literally they're like, well, you can't do it anymore. It's like,
Sorry.
I imagine just the panic that I felt when I was like, man, how is this gonna affect our business? And then once I realized, like, all right, I think we'll be fine. But then I'm like, man, imagine if you were like, well, if someone came to us and you can't record anymore.
Well, no, that's the only
you
thing I
can't,
can acquaint it to was
our product
years ago when we were told that. And that's the only thing I can accurately equate it to, because we've been, we're still trying to come in here and make you guys smile a little bit. I know it's hard. I know it's weird. I know it's different. I won't even use the term weird anymore. It's just different. But I equate it to the feeling that I had, and you saw me. I was a wreck.
Yeah.
I was absolutely a wreck.
Well, they when you can't literally do your business and it's through no fault of your own, into this crazy circumstance, and what do you do? I'm sure you feel lost and you're trying to do as much as you can, but there's no way to to even attempt to make the revenue you were making, without customers. So you literally go into survival mode and you hope to ride it out. So if anybody can help all of our small business sponsors, especially the bars and restaurants.
And we'll be keeping you up to date. We're going to check in with them, and we have been daily, just checking in and say, hey, anything changed? Any word you need to get out? Anything you need to say? We're definitely committed to helping out.
Yeah, of course. And it does feel like as time goes on and wears on, like you have the immediate everybody like, oh, what can I do to help? Like it's that after hurricane response where you're like, grab a chainsaw, like I'm go out there, clear the roads.
Yeah.
And then
Everybody's doing the same thing. Before we even recorded with Dan, we were collectively, you guys more so because I had computer issues, but then we started all cleaning the studio. Dan's at Tuffy's cleaning up Tuffy. Like everybody's sort of like, I got to do something. I got to do something.
But there will be a point where you
Run out of things.
Yeah, run out of things, and
Then what?
In fact, we cleaned up too fast.
Then you mess it up.
I already cleaned up my desk during a lunch break.
Let's not get crazy.
How?
It's clean.
This is the thing. It's,
It's
like
gorgeous.
You could do that like once a week, but yet you choose to
No,
not.
he
Okay.
only does
Only
it
during
when there's,
When there's a pandemic?
Only
Okay.
during a
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough another 10 years.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they're gonna ramp up. You might be doing this weekly.
No, they'll stop. I mean, like I said, I'm sure. Now, who knows? I've seen crazier stuff, but I'm sure this will cause a response from our government to do whatever it takes and throw as much money at stopping anything like this ever happening again. You know what I'm saying?
You would hope.
Like if there's the inkling of another disease or virus popping up in some country, that we are on top of it fast, and we're like immediately have a bunch of people monitoring whether it's getting out or not. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't go through another economic shutdown like this, and the loss of lives, and this can't be a possibility. Now I'm sure there's some other unforeseen thing that pops up because this wasn't even on our
It's
radar.
always going to be something, right? Yeah, no, this wasn't on my list of things to worry about.
You know what's crazy too is like I've talked to my wife about this a lot because
It's good that you guys are talking.
she's in
That's a big step.
an industry where we often say like, man, we both work for ourselves. Like there is no, corporation that you could like, oh, well, maybe
Nice
it'll be
corporate
fine
safety
or,
net,
or
yeah.
whatever. And so I'm like, you're in the real estate business. Like, there's gonna be another downturn of eventually, right? This is the last recession, and we kept looking at the economy and looking at everything, and like she was like, man, I don't see what could happen that could cause an economic downturn. Like,
bam!
Yeah. And they said it was like, around 2020 that they economists predicted that there would be something that would affect the economy negatively. And
Conspiracy.
it's just in the
They created it, self-fulfilling prophecy.
or like they know it's a natural ebb and flow of things, like time-wise, like
There are patterns.
through the history. We talk about it all the time with the Great Magnet and like
No, it's the pendulum effect.
Yeah.
They've been studying that in communications for years about how even trends, something as simple as like how you spend your money, where you spend your money, religion, how into church you are, the way that we talk, how vulgar we are, social consciousness. It all is a pendulum effect, and we go back and through different types of cycles where things cyclically fall in or fall out of favor.
Yeah.
It's going to be that way forever.
And economists looked and they're like, well, I mean, we don't know what it's going to be, but something is going to cause an economic downturn around this time because that's what history has said it will happen. And then you look at it, you're like, what? What could God do? And then this goddamn thing happens, and you're like, oh, like how is it so easily predictable, but no one can see it? You know what I'm saying? Like we know, like history says that this will happen. And then all of us are like, what? Like, and then this happens.
What's weird for me is like there's all these different movies and books for decades that have been like being pumped out by, whether it's science fiction or, action adventure or, and I can even remember, pardon me, watching some of them, being part of some of them, and actively thinking in my brain, like,
That'll never happen.
Yeah, it's funny. I say that a lot about a lot of things, and then like here we are, and I got to tell you, when you sit back and look at this, it is as with everything, it is not like it's in the movies. Like I look at things like that, I'm like, people don't eat bats. That's crazy. Yeah, they do. They totally do. They eat everything.
Well, all it takes is one person, I guess, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and there's always going to be one
and
of almost everything, right? That's just if you're just playing odds.
Yeah.
So
anyway, what a pain in the ass. What a goddamn
World
pain
pandemic.
in the
What
ass.
a pain in the ass.
It is.
pandemic, more like pan in the ass.
You know what it feels
All
like?
right.
It feels like the world got a treatable cancer, and it's just you have to endure
Gotta go through the chemo.
miserable time and a rough time, and it's just a pain in the ass, and no one, caused it to happen. It was like a fluke, and this is where we're at, and there's no way to fix it fast. And, like I said, hopefully there's a way to prevent it in the future, at least through knowing that it's possible. Like I'm saying, I can't imagine you don't throw billions of dollars at some sort of huge organization to monitor this in the future, right?
Oh yeah, well there are going to be people that say, and I'm monitoring the chat room, and without getting into a political discussion, you'll say that sometimes those things are in place, and sometimes those things get taken away, depending on what is important or what's prioritized within that administration.
What's deemed important.
Yeah, and that's going to change from person to person to administration to administration. So I'm not here to speak on that, but I think you're pretty accurate in that we are going to put a lot of resources towards this.
And even whatever was in place, no way, close to the scale that it needed to be.
Right.
You need you need to throw a lot of money at this to make sure this, at least there are teams in every single country monitoring any possible virus that could spring up and then jump on it at a time, and then clear information and protocol and stuff that kind of thing. I can't imagine that wouldn't be the case in the future because of how bad this is for us. You can't afford to ever let this happen again. And I know there's anomaly and there's things that you can't always stop, but at least stopping viruses like this from getting too out of control seems like you could, put enough money behind it where it's something, right?
Oh my God, you're not going to do that, are you? Somebody in our Twitch chat room says, this is a social experiment conducted by the government to see how far they can suppress the American people before we start fighting back. I don't think that's the case.
I think you just did it
There's
to the
a lot of
whole
people
world,
that aren't
or-
being suppressed. Trust me, they're out there doing whatever the hell they want.
We're not doing that. We're not gonna do that.
Well, it's also the conspiracy theory.
Sometimes
People
it's
get
just for fun. though.
ultra paranoid. Yeah. And then,
I throw them out there, but I don't mean them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
enmeshed in there. You're not linked to it. I mean, you just enjoy dancing with them
Yeah.
occasionally. It's like putting your hand in the candle.
Dancing with the theories.
Yeah. You like doing that a little bit.
They're entertaining to talk
Yeah,
about, but,
exactly.
Have you guys
truly believe them?
You guys been having any weird dreams?
I don't dream.
Okay.
That I.
You know what's funny is he calls himself a dreamer, but he doesn't dream, which is
I
He
daydream.
daydreams.
first
That's
step.
the thing.
Then you're
That's
a
called
daydreamer.
fantasy.
Then you're a daydreamer.
Yeah.
What did you daydream about today so far?
Yeah. Have you been daydreaming
No,
today?
nothing. No.
Dead inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's.
I had a weird dream that a friend of ours fell through a drop-down ceiling in the lobby. Just fell through nude.
Oh.
And she landed on the ground, and we're like, wow! And and I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, cover her.
How were her tees?
And I didn't look because we were covering her with whatever we could find. I'm like, what's wrong? And then-
dream you looked at him for
Yeah,
sure.
for
No,
sure.
No, didn't
I
have
mean,
enough
not
time.
where she fell out nude. You
Exactly.
saw him.
Well, she landed on her stomach.
Well, that means the tees were down first.
Yeah, but I wasn't looking at the ceiling when she fell. I was looking at you guys, and the person falls. You ever fall into a ceiling?
Not through a ceiling, no. I put my foot through a ceiling, climbing on some boys and girls club at night when I was in high school when we were drinking at the pool or whatever, and you had to climb on the roof to get
And
into
you
the
destroyed
thing.
it? Oh.
My foot fell through into the storage shed or
And
whatever.
then it rained on all of their
I'm
toys
sure it did,
Toys
yeah.
for Tots and ruined their Christmas.
Yeah, that's
Something terrible like that.
but never fully fallen through. It did the move where America's Funniest Home Videos now.
Just her feet go.
Yeah, the feet go through.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Me either.
I've never fallen through a ceiling. I remember my dad cracking our ceiling up in the attic. I remember that. That's where most of those type of atrocities happen. But I just wondered with the dream thing, because my wife's been having very vivid and weird dreams. And I don't know if that's just everybody's collective anxiety, like global anxiety.
My husband has. I haven't really.
Yeah, Andrea's had some weird ones where, one, she was I'll have to look back on her Facebook page, but she listed all of them, and they're not really necessarily bad. They're just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most dreams are weird, right? I mean, does anybody have like a
have some-
business as usual dream?
I do.
Yeah, sometimes I will have like
Yep.
dreams of just going to work.
Really?
Yeah. Even
I
like
have
when I
a
was
weird-
working at the paint pill factory just typing, like I would have dreams. It's awful.
I had one here that I just came in and we did the show, and I could have sworn that's what we talked about. And I did like actually think about it and look back on my iPad to convince myself that we didn't do that show, and we did not.
It was just a dream of you.
It was
doing
just
the
us
show?
doing like Friday
Was
Free
it good
show.
content?
It seemed like it, yeah,
need those
because
topics.
because I remember thinking I was like, oh, it was a good show. We felt. I remember what it was too. It was doing the show and having particular guests on the show. And it was Big Tim, our good friend Big Tim, and then I asked you, and he wasn't even on the show. Like it never happened. That's crazy.
The dream where you think something's real, like in Crystal.
Well, your wife
all
does
the
that,
time.
and then
Yeah,
she gets
yeah.
mad at you,
Well,
right?
that, and she'll think something actually happened. It invokes some emotional response that she'll carry the rest of the day. Like
Yeah.
that, I'm like, God damn, this is illogical.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Butler and I were
Brain
talking
is
about
broken.
this morning. That is, I mean, I'm going to take a hard non-segue here.
No.
So Butler comes in this morning. He starts talking to me about how he'd never seen. What was the bird, Butler? We can maybe do this on Bird Wednesday. Was it a heron crane or something? An ibis.
Ibis?
Yeah, he says ibis. You say ibis. Let's
I don't
call the
think
whole thing off.
Anybody says
No.
ibis.
I've never heard ibis.
Yeah. It's ibis.
It's ibis.
No one says ibis. That's not a word, and it's not a thing.
So now you're
no one calls
bullying.
it
them.
well, I'm just saying.
I like that.
Who?
Who talks worse, you or Butler?
Well, it depends on the show. Me.
So it was. So I saw one of what I think is an ibis, and or excuse me, an ibis, and I was grilling. I was outside making food for my wife and daughter. I'm grilling some wings, and Maisie runs out and sees this ibis standing there, and it's got a long, bright pink like D bill,
No.
like a cone, like not a cone, like a what do you call it, like a fishing pole.
Yeah.
It's a huge. And she's like, oh, look at the bird, look at the bird. So she runs and gets a piece of bread, and we name him Harvey. And I'm like, let's feed the bread to Harvey. So I wing the bread at Harvey the ibis.
Is it an ibis or a sandhill crane?
It didn't look like a sandhill crane.
Okay. All right.
But it could have been a sand. Let's just go with sandhill crane.
Okay.
Because
yeah.
you know more about Florida birds
just,
than I do.
Just
I don't know.
a big white bird with a pecking beak.
A curved pecking beak. It didn't have a straight pecking beak. It had a smooth head, rounded, bright pink, like a nipple-colored pink
All right, good
pecking
ibis.
bill. Like bright nipple pink clawing legs.
Yeah, and white.
And white, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
full. So we throw the bread at Harvey, and this thing's pecking for worms or something in the new sod.
Yeah.
They're still throwing sod and pressure washing crazy around here, by the way.
Yeah.
They're essential, I guess. Throwing sod's essential. So Harvey, the pecking bird, he pecks he turns, he sees the bread. He's like, automatically this thing knows the difference between worm and bread.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me. But he knew it. He knew it wasn't like I was throwing a rock at him or something.
Yeah.
How did he know? I was really high, too. And it lands. And then so Harvey the bird comes over. He runs over to the bread. He pecks his pink and pecker. Right through, dead center, bullseye, through the bread. He lifts it up, and he has hooked it now. So the bread's on his bill.
Yeah.
And he does a swirly do with his head, like the bread is like ring tossing around there. And then it comes right down his beak, and it all the way down.
No.
And he doesn't spill a crumb. And I was like, now that's pretty damn good. I was very impressed with that.
Probably, walks around all day getting fed by rich guys.
Right.
Standing on their balconies drunk, throwing bread at him.
Yeah. You don't tend to fly in the poor neighborhoods if you want people to throw food at you.
Oh, I had one more thing happen to me, animal encounter. So I've been riding my scooter a lot lately, and I don't know why. I guess because it's almost like, it seems like post-apocalyptic for me for some reason. So I ride that because it makes me, in my mind, feel like I'm a little more Mad Max
Yeah.
and a little less like scared inside my house, pandemic boy.
Yeah.
So I'm riding along. I run over something like with my scooter, and blood and guts spray all over my left foot. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I turn around and go back. Somebody had freshly run over a squirrel, and then I ran back over him and squeezed him like a sausage on my sandals and foot. So I had to go soak my foot in a bleach bucket. That was fun.
Yeah. Also, running over something on a motorcycle, you feel it. Not
Oh,
like
yeah.
your car, where it's like, what was that? Like,
No, I knew
like
it.
a human, a bum.
Oh, I felt it.
You're
You
like,
felt the spray. Yeah, it was bad. It was not good.
Small ruckus tire.
Yeah,
You were feeling
not
a
good.
squirrel skull.
Yeah, I could definitely feel a spine of some sort. Let's take a little break. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Head on over to tomanddan.com. At the very top of our website, kind of in that little dynamic lead area, the most important part, you'll see a blue banner that you can click on. You can go to help out some of our bars and restaurants and some of the people that are truly being affected right now with this huge shutdown. I mean, we don't want to forget about these guys who keep us well fed and happy. And I know that they would certainly appreciate it. And be sure to try and, if you do order and when you do order, tip well too, because almost all of that's going to go back to those people that are feeding you and handing those bags to you curbside.
Yep, 100%.
Do you want to let's do some voicemails and some emails. Samantha, do you have an email
I
that we
do.
can start with? Yeah, let's start with email this time.
Okay, this says, "Hey Tom, Dan, and crew. I wanted to tell you guys thank you. For almost 2 years, my daughter, almost 13 years old, has been dealing with a whole slew of medical issues, and most times the doctors and specialists tell us they've never seen anything like this before, and that she is a medical anomaly to the point that one specialist at Shands wants to write about her for a medical journal. She was hospitalized in Shands for a week back in August, and then again for about 3 weeks in late January and early February. We live in Ocala, and driving to and from Gainesville multiple times a week got to be very taxing financially, mentally, and emotionally. But having your podcast to listen to during the drives made it easier to deal with. Thank you for the laughter and taking my mind off things for just a little bit so I didn't go insane. You sometimes say that what you're doing doesn't matter and you're just a couple of guys talking about BS, but for me, it has been so much more than that. Every time I listen, I feel like I'm listening to my friends talk about real life and like I'm part of something. Thank you for what you do and how much you care about your listeners. I've been listening to you guys in some form or fashion since Daniel was with Ed Till. I recently signed up to be a BDM, and I look forward to being able to attend my first meetup."
No, that's awesome. Well, I mean,
thank you, sir.
We appreciate you saying all of that true and factual information.
Or essential.
Yeah.
When a doctor tells you they've never seen this before or anything like this before, it's either extremely bad or good. For instance, like you are cured from a disease that they never seen anybody walk away from.
Yeah.
Or speaking of walking, you could walk even though they said you'll never walk. You know, it's like they're like, wow, you defied all odds. And then the opposite of that is,
I've never seen this before. Your body parts are just falling off of you.
or like there's some undiagnosed thing that you have
Right.
that nobody could figure out real bad. There's no in between with any of that. It's either
But that,
you're walking, they thought you would never walk again, or that you have something they don't know how
But
to
the
treat.
non-diagnosis, now follow me with this, I think you'll agree, the non-diagnosis happens a lot. Because how many people do you know that talk, even me, it's like, oh, I got the side pain, or I got the, my finger does this, and I talk to the doctor, he says it's fine. So, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know what's wrong. How many times have you heard that from somebody? They don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah. Well, it's still humans doing this, so there's
Right.
going to be mistakes and
oversights, yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be, a bias in the fact that if you're a doctor and you've seen the same rash and it's the same thing all the time, it's just dermatitis, like it's just your standard skin rash, and then every once in a while it's going to be stage 4 cancer, and then they just call it dermatitis. But technically they were 99% right all the time, and then that 1% they got wrong.
I've only been misdiagnosed once. And it was pretty bad. It was chickenpox. When I got the chickenpox, like in my 30s.
Yeah.
The one that almost killed me, where I had like the 106
Yeah,
fever.
when you're an adult,
Dude.
chickenpox can lay you out.
It was scary bad, like scary bad. But I remember I got misdiagnosed. Like I had it.
What
and
did they
like,
say? What did
And
they think you
dealing
had?
with it, they're like, these are the worst mosquito bites. Like you got eaten up. and I'd gone to the emergency room right up the road here. Like
They
late.
didn't like take blood or anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're like, this is terrible because it wasn't like I got it, but it wasn't like when I got all the bumps on me. That happened like way later. It's like I got a few.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
Came
crazy.
in slow.
Yeah, it did kind of. And I had the fever and I was not feeling good. And I remember getting misdiagnosed there. Oh, by the way, you mentioned something that is like a pet peeve of mine that I just cannot deal with, and that's rashes. I am not a rash person.
No, I've never gotten.
What about heat rash?
I've gotten some
Like
rashes,
even
but
when it's
I'm
like
not a
on my
rashy
daughter
person.
or if I see it on my own leg or something, it freaks me out.
Oh,
Like it's
yeah.
way like it's just I don't like the word. I don't like seeing it. I don't like the bumpies. I don't like the itchies.
There are people that deal with like just lifetime rashes. What's the
Psoriasis?
psoriasis? Yeah, like I feel bad for people that have psoriasis. I knew a kid in school that just had chronic bad psoriasis.
His name was Cyrus.
And he always wore jeans because it was all over his legs.
Yeah.
and
And
it was-
kids are mean and they'd probably make fun of them.
Yeah, and he was self-conscious about it, but it was just, and it looked bad. Like I remember, like, well, how bad could it be? Let me. Oh! That's what I said. That's what I said in my head. I was just like, oh, yeah, no, not that big of a
it's not
deal.
that
But
bad.
in my mind, I was like, that is gross.
Put your board shorts on.
And you should chop your legs off because that. You're saying that'll never go away? Oh,
They have better
my
medications
God.
now.
Yeah.
Like they have those commercials. This sounds so terrible, but they have those commercials, and I always do this. And this is when my wife looks at me and says, "You shut up." I'll watch that commercial. It'll be some lady at a barbecue, and her psoriasis is like crazy. Her arms are like bright red, like someone's been whipping them with sticks, And then they show her getting the medication. She's taking the oral medication, and then they say like between 3 and 6 weeks, you'll see a lot better. You might see the process, the healing process. They go through the whole thing, and then the lady's back at the barbecue, and she's got on like short sleeves, but you could still like on their arms, you can still kind of see where it was. And I always yell from the kitchen. I was like, "Still see it." I always yell it. I always do.
Your skin is scarred.
You can still see it.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you get a bad hand of cards.
Did we ever determine what causes the gray patches, like when people's thighs or underarms or any part of your body continuously rubs? Did we ever determine
It's
what causes that?
It's like I imagine a callus or some sort of like the friction causes the discoloration, and then
Can you ever make it go back to white or black or tan or brown, whatever?
If it stops rubbing, yeah, because your skin sheds, so it's just like your calloused heels. Like I got hard, cracked heels.
I thought they were doing better. They've been looking better.
No.
Yours
They're real
got
bad.
cracked, and then they got dirt in them, and then they healed over the dirt, and so now you have
Like a tattoo.
like you have a tattoo.
Yeah.
You were like doing traditional like Mayan heel tattoos.
Yeah, no, I live with the pain of like at the end of
My
the day.
thumbs are getting that way, and that's just from anxiety. Like it must
Yeah.
drive you guys crazy watching me pick my effing thumbs.
No.
How
no,
is
no,
your
no.
big toenail coming back in?
Don't talk about it.
Is it back yet?
It is
No.
back, but the doctor was like, "I've never seen anything like this."
It seemed like it had extreme progress at the beginning, and then it just
Stopped. It's done. It's done growing.
It just
You got a quarter toe.
So it's a half of a
quarter.
toenail now?
It's a quarter.
It got it is about a quarter, and then it just taking its sweet time. It just stopped there, and
You need to trim it. It's like your hair. You don't want to get split ends, so you gotta trim the top of it to let it grow out a little bit more.
no trimming it. It's
You know
just,
what is odd about your toenails since you have them out?
Do you wash in there? Do you get you need to get a toothbrush?
You need to soak those things.
yeah.
Somehow you don't have long toenails, but I can see the dirt around them and
Well,
underneath them.
No, it's not. That's not dirt. That's just the color of the skin. He's got the traditional Mayan dirt foot tattoos.
I was walking around in dirt all weekend, doing yard
You
work.
gotta wash those things.
So my feet got like
You do it barefoot?
permanently, but sandals. So
Might as well be.
And then I'll go barefoot because I'll kick my sandals off at the door and I'll forget I'll go around the back and I'll be like, where are they? And I just walk barefoot.
I've given
I'm
up with
destroying my
Maisie.
feet.
Maisie's feet are jet black all the time because she's an outdoor Florida trash child. You know, she's just a swamp garbage person. And her feet are, black. And then Caesar will go and drink water, and then his dumb beard will spill the water all over my brand new floors.
Yeah.
And then Maisie will run her swamp trash feet through it, and then
Mud
slip,
puddles.
and then just leave these like Sharpie marks, just black Sharpie marks. We're gonna have to. I have to get it.
What a joy.
Yeah, it's not good. Let's do a voicemail. How about this guy?
Hey guys, I was listening to some last week's ACT where you guys are talking about hot dogs, and I know Sam is a big fan of the cheesesteak.
Yes.
So I was curious if Dan remembers a place in DeLand called Belly Busters.
Yes.
I know growing up, like, it was literally the best cheesesteak, and they used to have slaw that would go on it. But
Let me tell you a little bit about Belly Busters before we finish his voicemail. Belly Busters was this little cheesesteak place in DeLand. It's still around, but I think it's owned by somebody else. It may have closed down, but it's changed owners since the original when it was like at its peak, I'll say. I haven't been there in forever, but I hear it's not the same. I'll just put it like that. But they had steak fries. Where do you guys stand on the old steak fry?
Not a fan.
I'm a huge fan of the steak fry.
No, it's
just more potato in your hand.
It's just, now what is the technical definition of steak fry? Like, does it have to be a certain thickness?
It
to
looks to
constitute
be
a
about
steak?
it looks to be about a half an inch on the side, and it looks to be about an inch
Yeah.
on the front and the back.
I don't like it. It's too thick.
If you got to crisp them up, it holds a lot
Don't
of
like
ketchup.
'em.
That's a ketchup holding fry right there.
A steak fry, 3 regular fries to 1 steak fry as far as contents.
Close. Yeah, unless
3
you're
or
counting
4.
Steak and Shake, that'd be a 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Typically seem
That's-
drier. I'm
No,
not a
they're
fan.
not drier. I
Don't
think you're
like 'em.
getting more potato. It's as close to a potato wedge as you can get for a fry.
I also don't like
But
potato
it's not
wedges.
a wedge. You don't like potato wedges?
Those are the worst fries of all time.
Oh my God! You didn't ask these questions
take.
before you hired her.
Hot take.
Jesus Christ! It's like putting. Do you have AIDS blood at the end of the test? Like you always said. You didn't ask her. She hates potato wedges.
Hate 'em.
Who hates potato wedges?
Disgusting.
What about potato skins?
I'll eat a potato skin.
Potato skin is a flat wedge. Oh my God! Oh my God!
It's a bigger
I'm
wedge.
freaking out right now.
Yeah.
Not the same.
You're like my wife. My wife, I'm like, she'll make her own pickles and eat them. And then I'll eat a pickle, and she goes, pickles are disgusting. I'm like, well, you eat your own pickles. She's like, but I
Different.
made that. It's
Yeah,
not different. A pickle's a vinegar cucumber.
So
Not the same.
Belly Busters.
Oh, yeah, back to Belly
What
Busters.
happened with
Sorry.
Belly Busters?
Well, it, changed hands. He talks about the slaw that they put on it, which I'd never had. Hold on.
cheesesteak, and they used to have slaw that would go on it, but it didn't have any dressing on the slaw, so it was just like cabbage and cut up carrots and pickles and stuff like that. But literally, I just remember that being like the best one. I still crave it to this day, but unfortunately, I heard it got bought out a couple of years ago. And is just the most roach-infested place ever.
Oh, hold on.
It
I don't
was the
know
cleanest
that.
back then,
I don't
but
know that.
apparently it's gone way downhill. Either way, love the show. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, so let's just not.
I'm looking at, they got good Yelp reviews.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was rad. Like, back in the day, it was a great little mom and pop sandwich chain. You know, it had the big sandwich art that somebody had. I used to like it when you'd see the business where they took a lot of pride in what they were doing, but they didn't get somebody to come and install their sign. They got out there with their jigsaw and they cut out the sub sandwich and they painted it perfectly, like really, really well done.
I do miss homemade signs. The ordinances made that rare.
I
right?
love a good
I am
homemade
looking at a
sign.
photo from Belly Busters, and it appears like there is lettuce on a cheesesteak, to which I say that is blasphemy.
Yeah, some people do that though.
Why?
I don't know. I don't do
Wet
it either.
lettuce?
Well,
Yeah, I don't support that move either.
it's probably not the way it comes standard, but
That's a lot of decorum coming from somebody that
Disgusting.
doesn't like potato wedges.
people can opt for their own toppings. Being a subman, people used to put a fair share of lettuce. When you ask for toppings on your cheesesteak, people would be like lettuce, tomato, pickle, and you know the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I know
Yeah.
those
They
people
put that
too.
shredded lettuce. I don't understand lettuce on a sub because I'm like, like, what is this, garbage? Like, you don't need it. Seriously, it doesn't do anything.
What is this, garbage?
Well, you're just sprinkling nonsense garbage
it's
on
the
the
texture,
top.
though. They like the
Dude,
crunch.
well,
Don't say doo-doo, sir. We don't serve that.
Put onions or pickles or tomatoes,
Yeah.
some things with flavor.
Well, onions are divisive.
Yeah.
People hate some onions or people love some onions. I happen to love onions.
Banana
Love
pepper.
onions.
There's tons of other things that can offer the same consistency as lettuce that actually have flavor. You're just putting shredded lettuce that has nothing. It adds nothing to it.
But it could hold your salt and vinegar or your sub sauce, or not salt and vinegar, your oil and vinegar or your sub sauce.
I guess so. If you want it as a holder, then make shredded something with flavor. I'm sure you could shred anything, right? You could
Shredded cheese.
put something else besides lettuce.
What about like
It's the biggest scam in the sub
cabbage?
business.
What about cabbage?
It's the biggest scam in the
It
sub
is.
It
Because
does.
they fill it
makes
up.
It makes the sandwich bigger. Yeah.
Go ahead and ask.
Jimmy John's used to do it with Sprouts before they eliminated them because of E. coli.
Go ahead and ask Subway next time you're there to put lettuce, and they're not skimp on the lettuce.
they don't.
Yeah, they'll put plenty of
Yeah,
lettuce.
4 pickles, but
Yeah.
2 giant mitts.
Yeah, because
I
it's free.
mean, mitts. Like so much lettuce in their hands, they look like they're wearing a scarecrow costume for Halloween.
Because it's 2 cents of lettuce for them. Who cares? They're like, make it look big.
There's also no instruction on how much lettuce to put on your Subway sub as a sandwich artist. Everything
Oh, yeah, I
else
forgot
everything
you've
else
done
is
this.
counted out and everything,
yeah.
but they're just like, handful.
Yeah, they're
lettuce.
baking
go
them.
crazy with the lettuce.
Yeah.
I got another email.
Yes, sorry. I was reading the chat. Tom's favorite joke. On a recent OG show, I heard you guys briefly mention how you were funnier back then, about 4 years ago. But I can remember OG shows from that time frame where y'all talked about how much funnier you guys were on those even older shows.
That's the way it works.
It's like Tom's favorite joke in which Bubba's wife says she was so skinny in an older picture, although Bubba remembers her saying she was fat at the time of the photograph.
Yes.
I found this amusing and just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah.
That is how it happens.
Oh, it's also you're always younger years ago. Whatever. You're like, man, I was younger and better looking 2 years ago, and that will continue to happen.
Well, maybe not for you guys. I saw the documentary.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes you
That was just pure stress.
You know,
we're like, how we get this thing off the ground? Is this going to work? All the other stuff leading up to
Plus,
it.
I was eating hard. Like, I'm not even
We
joking.
weren't eating well.
For breakfast, on the way here, I would stop by Publix and eat a large Italian sub.
wait a minute.
Boar's
A
Head Italian.
foot-long
Yeah,
Italian
like
for
a-
breakfast?
The big one.
Or, go to
He'd
Subway.
get it and he'd meet me here. I'd get one too.
Like,
We were the Italian sub bros.
Then I wouldn't eat be full and then
Well, yeah.
and then
Then
dinner
at night, large pizza.
Yeah, and then beers. You go back and you look. Plus, I hadn't compensated for my metabolism slowing down in my in my 30s, so I was like went from 20s I could eat whatever I want, literally junk food, fast food, whatever, beers all the time. I'd drink Bud Light every single day, in my mid 20s, nothing. And slow increase. You're like, a little fatter than I was, but not bad.
Right.
And then I kept that up after 35, fatter than ever. It really caught up with me. My body chemistry flipped the switch. And then probably 2 years ago, I was like, I have to. I guess I have to watch what I eat. I can't just eat whatever I want.
I know. Isn't that a terrible feeling?
Yeah. Then it was. My wife hates it because she claims it's not that easy for her.
It is harder for women.
It's harder
to
for
lose weight.
ladies. Yeah.
I tell her, I'm like,
It's harder for ladies to do everything just because they're not as good at stuff.
Yeah.
Write that down. I got Butler.
Yeah, I got Butler.
My pop-up.
Butler's like, ah!
My pop-up said their brains are smaller.
Yeah, like dinosaurs.
Yeah. They got a real thick skull.
Yeah.
So
Thick
they're
skull, tiny brain.
good at boxing. That's what he said.
Oh, my God. Let's do one more voicemail, then we'll take a little break.
Hey guys, I was listening to BDM show and you're talking about getting an aquarium for the studio. And you're talking about, what kind of fish would go with what person. Well, down in Port Charlotte, the Tampa Bay Rays have a 1A team called the Stone Crabs, right? And the Stone Crabs have a mascot, which is this guy in a giant blue stone crab costume. And his name is Stoney the Stone Crab, real original, right? Anyhow, Stoney the Stone Crab, every so often they'll switch the head out and he'll go from having regular crab eyes to he'll be kind of droopy and they'll take a red felt tip marker and draw a bunch of little red lines inside of them, like he just got done smoking some dope, right? Makes him look all stoned and whatnot. Goes around.
Smoking dope? Who are you? who says that?
Look at my pop-up.
Who says smoking dope?
I'm talking taking pictures with all the families and the little kids while he's supposedly, stoned off weed. Anyhow, there's your fish for Butler, Stony the stone crab, the stone crab's mascot.
Not a bad idea.
like
Stony
that.
the stone crab.
Where
are we
Stony the
with
stone crab.
Where are we with fish cam? Are we still working on it?
Still working on it. It just, because of everything going on, everything is shut down. So
What, the fish got corona too?
Well, even the fish business is affected. Some businesses seem like they're positively affected. Like the grocery stores have to be making more money than they ever have, right?
I mean,
will that slow down once everybody the panic subsides and everybody's like, well, I bought everything.
Now I got too much.
Yeah, I'll be like, I never have to buy provisions again for
years.
Yeah, because it'll just there.
they're probably buying a lot of stuff that is perishable too, though.
Yeah.
Like I had to hunt for some things this weekend
all the
when I was
meat-
try to cook.
Yeah, unless you freeze it, that's
lot of
all going to
people
go
freezing
bad.
it, though.
But I guess the veggies are still there.
I lay my meat out in the sun to get it. It's like I do like a sun meat. Like some
a
people
tea.
do sun tea. I don't. I lay my meat on. If you lay it on aluminum foil for long enough, it will dry out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's like jerky, right?
Yeah.
You could jerky meat in the sun.
Oh yeah, I jerk my meat in the sun all the time.
Boom shakalaka.
One more. Ethan.
All right. Let's see. Been a
It
listener.
just didn't feel right because we're talking about. It feels weird in the middle of a pandemic to talk about this kind of stuff.
I've been a listener for a long time, but I had to send you an email on this one. I just finished you talking about glass bottom boats. I am at the least disappointed. Oh, we read this one already.
Oh,
But on a regular
you're doing what
show.
I'm doing. You're getting old now. That's what I do.
Not my fault if it gets printed twice. First, you make men the second greatest gender. Then you cancel the BDM event over a virus that is only killing old people. You're really turning into some P words for girl parts.
There it is.
LOL. Smart thing to do, and I'm glad Disney is doing the right thing and taking the loss to prevent mass groups being together. Can't wait for the
2
rescheduled
weeks
event.
ago, email.
Love from the Diz His podcast.
Yeah.
Have a different opinion now.
It was a joke.
No, I know. But at the time, it did seem like maybe a slight overreaction. I even thought about it.
We thought about it.
I was like, is this overreacting? Like at the time, it seemed
Some
like.
people were upset that we canceled.
Oh
it.
yeah, without a doubt.
And even me, I was like,
I had to calm some people down.
are we being too safe? It turns out not. But back then, 2 weeks ago, like
If we had gone through with it, we would be the D heads, right? People would be
No.
like, I can't believe
Well,
they
not
had an
now.
event.
No, it would have been. I think we would have been okay because it would have been right before everything got real serious. Like right before.
although,
I don't know. They were already telling us not to gather in large groups.
But not like they are now.
Yeah, that was like. Remember, it was like
It was suggested.
50, 100, but
Yeah.
then it kept going all the way down.
Yeah.
But back then we could have still done it, but less. I mean, half of the people would have come.
Yeah,
because
I already saw a bunch of people saying they
everybody
weren't
was
gonna
like,
be able to go.
so it would have been not a success.
A lot less information. Nobody really knew what to expect or what was going on. So yeah, it would have made sense.
Plus, there would have been people that have, got some sort of, cold or flu or some, besides from that, just from being around each other. Then at this point in time, they'd be like, I got it for the BDM, like we'd have heard that.
Right.
You're right.
But it was pointless to do it now. Hey, we'll just wait and,
We'll
we
do
got
it
all the stuff.
whenever.
I went by the storage unit this weekend and to get a tent because my Crystal wanted to set up a tent in the backyard because some of her friends did it, like got their old Peace River tents.
I
and
thought about that too.
set it up for their kids, and I thought it was stupid. I was like, I'm gonna spend
you don't
all
like
day.
fun, though, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna spend I know my sons. I'm gonna spend all day putting this stupid tent up. They're gonna go in it 2 times, and then I'm gonna sit there and watch it, kill my grass, and then, then I'm gonna finally get back there and put all the.
Don't you already have like a playhouse for them anyway?
No, the raccoons live in that.
It's so many leaves and garbage.
You're
that
raking
fell
already.
there.
Get them out of there.
I know they don't. I
You said all you do is rake and blow.
I know.
Well, get it out of the playhouse so your kids can.
They never go
play.
in there. A complete waste of money.
right.
I have a lot of those.
Yeah. It's. I'm like, why do we have this? I wanted to access
Like the Barbie dream house is only a place to put all of the toys.
Yeah.
You know, I stack them all in there. Like I find every
It's like
nook
a toy
and cranny.
box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just stuff them all in there.
Yeah. Things are like in your mind, they'll be fantastic, and the kids will play with them all day long, and they'll have so much fun. It's just never ends.
What if you build a tree house?
Well,
That'll give you something to do.
Yeah, you're not cutting your trees
And
down.
your
You
kids
got
can
great
help
trees.
You, help you build it.
You
they're
got
young,
great trees.
so-
Build it in the front yard with a tire swing.
yeah.
They'll be able to use it for a long time since they're so young.
Here's a problem.
Man, I had a tree house. It was dope.
I
loved
tend
it.
to not follow instructions and cut corners. And if I attempted to build a treehouse, for sure it would look sketchy as hell. And Crystal would never let
Do you have
them
an
plan
HOA?
it. No.
Oh, that's
no,
good.
yeah. It's believe me, I parked my boat up
It's
there.
funny,
the race car driver.
Like when I've been looking for houses, right? And you'll always see the ones that don't have an HOA. They will say no HOA. One of them's like, so you can have plenty of space to do whatever you want with your toys. And I'm like, that means you're white trash and you have just a bunch of crap in your yard, right?
My dad and mom, the only piece of advice that I don't even remember from my dad, but at least my mom, she's like, when you buy a house, make sure it doesn't have an HOA.
Yep. There it is. That solidifies it.
Anti-HOA.
A lot of people are, man.
it.
They hate them. They hate being told what to do with their property. I get it. It makes sense.
Because you want to garbage it up.
It is kind of nice, but it also
I want to
is-
make this worse.
Yeah, it's
And I
also
won't
no-
let the government tell me not to.
Yeah, no, I
Or my goddamn neighbors.
all my grandparents were like that too. Like, my main on my mom's side, her dad, he was very much a this is my place. I can park everything I want all around. It was just a myriad of different garbage and stuff that was unnecessary garbage.
That's
Normally vehicles, a lot of four-wheelers in my family. Big four-wheelers, a lot of weird carts that go behind four-wheelers. I'm like, what are you doing? Hauling the world's, what are you working on the world's smallest farm?
I often look at people that do have RVs in the driveway, and I'm like, did you plan this out before you bought that? Like, was this what you imagine your dream scenario would be? Like a gigantic RV parked in your two-car driveway in a normal suburban neighborhood? Like, it has no business being there. Like, it is an eyesore. Now, you have the right to do it, but is this the best,
Like
thing?
you have to look at it and go, like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You
You're
know, like with the
that should
wire,
be in storage.
Like there's a huge orange cord coming out of the front door into your RV. That's nice.
Like, I don't care. Same thing with boats too. When the boats are parked in people's front driveways, like I always think, did you plan on where you were going to keep it? Did you envision this like looking great, or like does this? It's got to bother you a little bit, right? Like the giant boat or RV parked there, and like that's the I've got neighbors that they have their boat parked on the driveway, like in front of their car garage, and it just stays there, and that's their solution to the problem.
I mean, yes, if you like monitoring your stuff.
Yeah.
There are some of those people, people that park next to the window at the restaurant so they can look outside and see their car or whatever. I know people like that.
Everybody's
Super
different. Paranoid though.
Yeah, there is an element of paranoia to it. We do need to take a break. Let's take a quick one. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
For those of you that have never seen our documentary, it's free on Amazon Prime right now, or Amazon Video if you're a Prime member. So as long as you're a Prime member, you can go on Amazon Video and just hit play. And saw a bunch of people watching it over the weekend. And if you want to check it out,
Lots of people were watching it.
just search a mediocre documentary or Tom and Dan. It'll all come up.
Some people have said that they wished that we added a like a 0.2 or like a update of what we're doing now. Same stuff. Exactly the same stuff.
Yeah. Well, that would involve filming more, and it's not just hey, well, let's just put some other thing like that. Filming that thing was like a lot of time.
It was a chore,
and it
I
was
hated it because he would show up and you guys wouldn't tell me he's filming, and I'm like, oh,
I'll be
I
honest
look like
with
trash
you.
today.
I'll be honest with you. I think we all sort of hated the process.
Well, it was a couple weeks of work. not that much work. Obviously, the like 360 or the camera people and
Kirk did a lot of work. Yeah. A lot of editing.
But even for us, it's like a lot of shooting and then
just being there. Something
interviews.
There was a lot of time. But anyway, check it out.
So you're a makeup person. Learning my
well, I don't even think that's gonna matter. I mean,
nice red and sweaty, and there's one I look like a sweaty.
Yeah, next
alcoholic.
time we do a documentary, let's get a hair and makeup person.
Yes, 100%.
And stylist.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm down. We have a guest on line one, sir. Would you like to introduce this person? It's I believe it's EJ's arch nemesis checking in.
Yep,
right?
Canadian Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Hey, boys, how's she going, eh?
So he's Canadian and
How's
up.
that? Did I do good? I tried to do like the most stereotypical, ridiculous Canadian accent I could do there.
Yeah, you did good.
Yeah, when I met you, Josh, when you came in studio, I wanted you to be more white and Canadian. I was like, you're like a regular Florida guy.
Yeah, he looked like a regular guy. You kind of disappointed us. We'd already created the stereotype in our mind.
Full Mountie, the red get up, the shiny boots.
I know. I should have wore that.
Yeah, like the detached South Park style jaw.
So
that could be a little harder to do. Yeah.
So, Josh, what's going on in Canada? I know similar self-distancing and stay-at-home rules and things.
Pretty much the same rules you guys are adhering to. I'm in kind of in a unique situation because I think I mentioned that when I was in studio there that I work as a paramedic in the remote industrial setting, and I'm currently trapped on the opposite side of the country from my family because I can't fly home.
Oh, no.
Oh, damn it, dude. Oh, my God.
Is the industry still at work? Like, is everything, day-to-day the same?
They are. Things are still going on. Some of the things they deem to be essential services was critical infrastructure program. So I'm guessing this pipeline is deemed a critical infrastructure program. So I'm still here plugging away, just taking it day by day and hoping I get to go home soon.
Well, it turns out there are a lot of critical things to our society that need to be up and running. Like you start going through the list of what's non-essential, and not much. It seems like everything's pretty essential because we all have to, or at least are used to, society, running the same way we were used to it. So we're like, well, we need plumbers, electricians, carpenters, all box stores, almost every store. Like
hot dog carts. The biggest one in Canada, everybody, was a big sigh of relief a few days ago when liquor stores and cannabis stores have been deemed essential.
Oh,
we had that.
Same.
Yeah, we had that here.
We're a nation. I mean, you can't take our alcohol away from us.
There'll be riots in the street.
We'll all start seizure.
Well, you already did, like, at the restaurants, and that freaked people out. Like, as soon as that came down.
Well, it was on St. Patty's Day.
Well, when our government said that here, I remember I was over at Publix, and I had just watched it, like, live on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's.
And then as I started coming over on the scooter, I saw all these people in these apartments over here walking over to the Publix liquor store, like as zombies. She's like, ooh.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I probably bought too much of was White Claw. Although
you'll go through it.
Yeah, you'll drink it.
Of course, I already did most of it. I got 2 12-packs left.
Yeah.
But
how much you buy?
I bought like 8 12-packs, which I actually went from I went to ABC. And I bought 2. I didn't want to buy too much, even though that they had
you have
seemingly
you have to buy
unlimited
it from different ABCs. So they don't judge you.
Yeah.
It's like getting money out of the bank. You don't get it all at the same location. You get it in multiple locations, so they don't judge you.
I didn't want to. I don't want to think that I was hoarding, the White Claw. So I did go from place to place buying 8 12-packs, and it turned out there's plenty of White Claw. And
they got a tower of it over at our Publix.
Yeah. There's no shortage of that. So, Josh, I can't imagine there's any other news coming out of Canada except for this whole coronavirus thing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much dominating everything. Just to circle back real quick, you guys talking about alcohol. Funny enough, actually, healthcare experts here, they weighed in on it, and their recommendation is to continue selling alcohol because alcohol is the only drug where you can actually die from the withdrawal symptoms. Like, we'll all get a little taste of it once in a while when we got shaky hands in the morning, but that's DTs, delirium tremens. That can progress. And if you're a hardcore alcoholic and you don't get your booze every day, you can potentially have a seizure and go into a coma.
Yeah,
healthcare professionals actually said keep the stores open so people aren't dying.
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I was seizing and going into a coma as you were talking. No, and the family's good. Like, are you having to address this? Because you got older kids than Tom and I have. How are you addressing this? Because we got to meet your boys. They're super rad little guys, and they're not even that little. I mean, they're just super polite, like great little guys. Do you talk to them about this? Like, how does a dad have a conversation to your boys about something that's so new to all of us?
Well, the first thing I try to do is just see what their take is on it. I open it up with them, like, say, what do you guys are hearing? Because at their age, their main source of information is TikTok or Snapchat.
Right.
So I just kind of ask them if they have any questions about it. And it's funny, they're on different ends of the spectrum. The oldest boy, he's kind of in the downplaying it. It's all BS.
Okay.
And my youngest boy is a little bit more paranoid. But I just tell them, don't get caught up in media. Don't get your information from social media. And I would tell everybody this. Just look at the data and, talk to us if you have, if you're really concerned about it.
Is that ingrained into your sons? Like you said, one's nonchalant about it, one's more paranoid. Like, that's the way they always were, right?
Yeah, they're so different. Like you notice with your boys, Tom. Like they're so different. It's obviously just part of their hard wiring. Like my youngest boy, when he was in the studio there, it was the raddest thing he did the whole vacation. He still talks about it. He wants to be a podcaster. He's like super into it. And then the oldest boy was like, Tom and who? What? Oh yeah, that Podnest thing we did.
He didn't even remember me.
Josh,
I was nicer to him than Tom.
Are the Canadians running out and buying ammo and guns like they are here?
Well, yeah, they are. If you go into the main store, people get it here. It's called Canadian Tire. You look at the display case there, and the same thing. People are hoarding all the ammo, hoarding all the toilet paper.
You buy your guns at Canadian Tire?
You guys are doing it wrong.
Weird.
Yeah, that's where you buy your. We can buy guns here. People don't realize that. They think that there are people who own guns and buy ammo in Canada, just not a little bit stricter process, though, than what you guys have to deal with.
I'm sure.
So far, now I understand, listen, people get paranoid and people, like, during these times, they get nervous and they want to go buy ammo and make sure that they have enough guns.
Well, eventually I'm going to have to be defending my spaceship against the Corona pirates.
Well, that's the thing. Like, listen, do whatever you want. I don't care. But no one has offered up a logical explanation on why you need so much ammo and guns. And
post-apocalyptic street fight, Tom. Duh.
Yeah, I know. You say like it's for protecting my family, and I gotta have.
You're gonna be shooting from your own rooftop. Everyone knows that, Tom.
But I want someone that has bought a bunch of ammo and guns to lay out the scenario in which they think that they need this for. For instance, like
it's gonna be like a Call of Duty map, and it's a free for all, just guns ablazing. Like, everyone knows that.
If you got some like a box of shotgun shells or some some 9mm, like a box of 9mm bullets for your Glock or whatever. I understand, like, okay, you want to defend your house if someone's breaking in, you need, let's say, 4 or 5 bullets, shoot that person, kill them or whatever. But the boxes, the hundreds of rounds and ammunition.
Where you're going to be holding position for days. Everyone knows you're going to be holding position for, maybe weeks.
Is it for some sort of Walking Dead scenario where you're like killing multiple people, or like Daniel said, holding position where you're firing from your window multiple rounds
24 hours a day
at people? Like
I've got Maisie taking watch, I've got Andrea taking watch. We're constantly manning the guns.
I don't know, this is all for worst case scenario in your mind.
I laugh at it too, man.
Even at worst case scenario, is there a scenario in your mind where you need hundreds of rounds and that's going to successfully hold off a horde of
It's your family against an army
martyrs.
of maniacs.
You have like a gang of people looking for house to house for food, and you got the food, so you need to. And they've got guns, I imagine, too, right? How are they stealing the food? So you're firing, you're exchanging fire.
But you have more ammo.
Are you combat ready to, are you going to be doing this in chubby shorts and sandals?
Yes.
I always imagine, are you dressed in tactical war wear, or are you wearing your Tommy Bahama shirt or your robe?
Not tactical war wear, more like old woo wear that you bought at.
Are you wearing are you running from one place to another in your house for firing position, and you're one basketball shorts fall down because the ammo in the pockets are, the drawstring has worn out. So it's pulled down your N1
Target Britney Spears shirt with spaghetti stain on it.
Yeah. And is that it? What is it?
What are you doing?
I think that's what people think, man. So you never know, man. You never know what can happen. Yeah, it's basically they're playing. You nailed it, buddy. I think they're just playing out a movie in their minds, and I think that's how it's going to go down.
But you want to? I'm okay with planning, but I always think you should plan for the stuff that's pretty likely to happen. And I don't think me having a gun battle with my neighbors is probably on the very high on the list of things that I'm going to succeed in.
You're eating 10 Tombstone pizzas a week. What's going to attack you is your own heart. That statistically is going to get you.
You know what's going to get you, and everybody knows it, and you know it too. It's sleep apnea. We know it's sleep apnea. It's coming to get everybody.
It's a silent killer.
It is the silent killer. Just ask Reggie White.
There's no amount of bullets that's going to help shoot your sleep apnea or your cholesterol.
You know what? Cut open a couple of shotgun shells and stick those in your nostrils to keep them open during the night so you don't have to huff and puff.
Again, do what you want. I'm just saying, and listen, I have some guns too.
Whoa, don't broadcast that, bro. I know where to go now.
I don't even know how many bullets I got, but I assume that's the appropriate amount to shoot a cracky coming in through my house. But
to defend yourself for maybe 10 minutes until the police arrive.
But a horde of roaming bikers that are heavily armed.
Corona pirates, Tom.
Stealing food from suburb to suburb house.
The biker Corona pirates pull up, and it's all motorcycles, tanks, and ATVs.
Or it's maybe a form of our own military that some sort of
scenario, an offshoot.
Yeah.
They've gone AWOL.
I'm shooting my rusty revolver at.
But they've got training.
There's a guy mounted on the back of a Humvee at a 50 cal, just incinerating my front house.
He always blowing all your windows out.
Yeah. I mean, you know what a 50 cal shell will do to my grand piano?
I don't know, but I'd like to see it.
It's gonna blow some shrapnel right into my flanks, and I'm just wearing shorts and a Tom and Dan shirt.
Your wife's in there trying to save her world possessions. She's trying to pull her Memento digital picture frame off the wall and stuff it in the back of your car.
I'm pleading with her to go be a sex slave to the
biker gang.
That's the only way you're going to survive. They're going to kill me.
How do you get their attention to offer her up? If they're shooting, you
have to.
Do you wave a tiny white flag and then he's like, stop, they have something to say.
Yeah.
Hey there, biker gang! I would like to offer my wife, if you please, just stop shooting our family photos off the walls.
Will they listen to reason? I just feel like they won't at that point.
And then they're like,
and they're going to be mad.
Let us see her. Hang one of her tees out the window.
And they'll be mad. I've been shooting at them for a while, right?
They will. They'll have to cool down for a second.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely.
Let me drink this LaCroix and think about it before I come storming your house.
God, it's hot.
Hot
in
LaCroix.
fact, I'm dying of starvation now that society's shut down. This is my least of my concerns.
Eat some of your mother-in-law's birds.
Anyway, so
yeah.
So
what were we talking about?
I don't know. We got to get out of here.
Is it still it's still cold as balls, Josh? What are we talking about? What is it outside right now?
Yeah, it's so to convert it for you people who do not use the metric system, it's about 30 degrees here.
Oh
right
my
now.
God,
Josh! It's
90 degrees right now.
It's 90 right now, and it was like 94 over the weekend. We were swimming.
I sat outside.
My pool was hot.
I sat outside of my house in just a lawn chair with no shirt on, just baking in the sun.
Yeah. Hot as balls here.
Yeah, it is. It's really cold up here. Just a couple of good news stories I kind of tracked down for you guys in relation to Canada. It's bad. Hockey is canceled. Obviously, that's pretty devastating to people. But it's nice seeing. I don't know if you guys saw the stories there that players are all donating big chunks of their salary, like $100,000 plus, to pay the arena workers up here.
Yep.
So that was a little silver lining, some good news amidst all this uncertainty.
That's good. I mean, it's like
Gotta help each other out.
We're a society. We need to help everybody.
Except if you're in the biker gang, you don't really want to
No.
help. You don't want to help anybody.
Yeah, don't help those guys.
Yeah.
Also,
And some other good news up here, Tom. A Canadian company, based a team of researchers from McMaster University and University of Toronto, they were actually a few days ago or last week. Sorry, they actually isolated the COVID-19 virus. I guess what that means, just in layman's terms, in order to develop a vaccine and to develop better testing, is you have to find the virus first and be able to pick it out. So step one done, thanks to some researchers in Toronto. So a little bit closer, thanks to those guys, towards getting a vaccine. So some good news there too.
all I see on Facebook is a picture of the goddamn little virus ball. I assumed I knew what it looked like.
A little purple ball with spikes all over it. I know what that thing looks like, a French burnt peanut.
Yeah, it's a spiky purple
How
ball.
could you not see it?
I know what it looks like. If you line up
thought I
all
knew
the
about it
viruses, I'd be like,
weeks
there it
ago.
is. It's right there. Purple spiky.
Yeah.
Get out!
I've seen that oh God.
I've seen that purple spiky all day long.
All right, Josh, we gotta go. We ran out of time. I appreciate the.
Hey, keep it perky
No
spiky.
problem, guys. Yeah.
No problem.
Talk to you next month.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
No, we'll
I'm
see.
not
What,
the R Club yet.
No,
Come
we'll
on,
see.
put me in the R Club.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
we'll see
we'll
where
see.
it goes.
Our gang.
so far,
Oh, no, our team.
Our game.
you earned yourself one more month. We'll
You're
catch
on
back up with you.
probationary status right now. You still got to wear the patch on the back that says "property of our team."
Come on, $10.95 BDM, which equates to $16 a month after you do the conversion. So come on, that's
Wait,
good.
oh, really?
Thank you very much.
If you donate
Just saying.
25 on our PayPal, I'll get you.
We'll do anything for 25
Yeah,
bucks.
we're now we've dropped
If I'm
everything down.
donating anything, it's going to Semantics Podcast.
All right.
You know what? You're fired. You're off the team. You're off the team. And you just got Samantha fired, so I hope you feel good about yourself.
Oh,
You're
I'm
ruining
buying a
lives.
house. I need it.
You're ruining
Sorry,
lives.
man.
I can't
Get out
be
of here.
unemployed right now.
Get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. We will see you tomorrow.